Say, Blum.
Wow.
So wild to me that this is taking me so long to do. Okay, so first of all, I have had this digital art little project thing that you are now seeing on the screen in my just files for months. I have two of these that I'm going to be putting out. This first one was just like a fun. I was planning on just doing a cool doodle and just going for it, and it was going to be something I think totally different than what it ends up being. But it also kind of kickstarted the second one that I ended up doing and the third one that I'm working on. But much like this voiceover, it took me forever to get started, and that's just where my mental space has been at. It's like very difficult for me. It's like I start a bunch of things right now and I finish none. So there's a lot of on the go things, but nothing fully finalized and figured out and realized. So I think I'm a little bit just having this like frustration moment with how much I need, or honestly, not even how much I need to get done, like it's how much I'm putting pressure on myself to get stuff done. So that can be very annoying. And I'm, there's a lot of things on the go. So I'm like, I guess this is kind of like an update / you can also watch this like little digital art thing that I'm doing, which is, I really quite liked it. The colors that I picked were supposed to just be like, help me outline. Like that was gonna be it. Like I was like, okay, I'll just outline everything to get a sense, and then you'll see there's a bunch of stuff that's happened, and then I take all of it off. I just completely redo what I had in mind, and I really like the final product. I love how it turns out. So I'm like not unhappy about it, and sometimes that's exactly what this is, right? This is like a little learning moment for all of us, is that sometimes you think it's going somewhere, and then other times you just go with the flow and you just kind of have to adapt, and you realize that you actually like something a lot more than something else, and yeah, you go with that instead, because I don't know what this would have turned out to be, but I mean, I love the color scheme regardless. Like I ended up with a really awesome color palette, and it turns into this thing that I'm just super happy about. Like this is the moment where I was like, oh, wait a second. Like, I really like these colors together. Like, am I gonna get rid of these lines? And why would I do that? So start moving to something else. But yeah, so on the other side of things, I have been working on, so I'm going through courses, plural, right now to get a diploma. So that is taking up a lot of my time, and it's like on the outskirts, right? So it's like I have my job, so that's been super busy, so I'm finally getting some time now to settle down and get back into some more extracurricular projects. I've also been like house sitting like fucking, I feel like 4 weeks in a row. It's like I've just been living out of a suitcase, going back and forth, house sitting, cat sitting, and then going to see my boyfriend. So I just have not really been settled. And part of me was like, I got a bunch of filming done at one place, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. But then because I was so like mentally kind of drained and just having the time to myself, like nobody else around, I found I just basically did nothing. You know what? What I want actually to do is nothing. I don't want to edit. I don't want to take the opportunity where I have all of this time to myself. I'm just gonna not, and that's gonna be great. So that's what I did, and I'm finally kind of getting back into the groove of things and planning. It's just tough. I mean, I think I say winter over, but we literally had like fucking snow out of nowhere yesterday. Anyways, with winter like finally going on the outs type of thing, I'm so excited for like the warm weather and biking, and the other day I just bought new bathing suits, so that's awesome too. Really excited about that, and I'm planning on going vacation, actually away to a place where there's a beach and I can wear all these fun little sundresses that I have. So that's going to be amazing. Oh my god. And I've just been trying to kind of, I'm I'm trying to manage, like, I have work and then kind of basically like school courses. And then on the flip side, I have these like fun art projects that I want to do. But I have hardly painted. Like, painting has been something I enjoy so much. And then it's really tough. When you kind of want to sit down and just go into it. And I found it's the first thing that just kind of went away during the winter. I just couldn't find any want to do it. I have all of these like, pictures or, media, or what's it called? What am I saying? Basically like an image that I'm like, okay, I want to work off of this image to make my painting. And I have just had the hardest time sitting down. And one of them, like, the canvas is tiny. The canvas that I'm working on right now is tiny, and haven't even laid out the sketching. So that is in the works. And I also have another one that I haven't finished yet that has just been sitting, that needs to be done. And I'm trying not to pressure myself into doing it because I want to just enjoy painting. I don't want it to be like a freaking chore. But I also find because I have a lot of issues with attention. I have a lot of issues with, just like mental health, like, kind of getting very low energy, especially during the winter, but also just, I move from one thing to the next. So like, I'm like sewing like crazy. I get really hyper-focused and really obsessed with like certain projects. And then that project is no longer new. So my brain is just like, oh, we've already done this. We don't need to do it anymore. So then that motivation, that like obsession to want to do something is no longer there. So I have to just kind of be like, oh, but I actually like doing this. So why don't you just sit down and do that thing that you enjoy? Because it's not giving me the right stimuli. It's not giving me like that friggin' mass of dopamine and serotonin to my brain. My brain is like, yeah, but like, why would you do that when you could try this whole new thing? Like, why don't you make carpets now? I think TikTok might be a big factor of that. I see things that I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna do all these projects, like DIY projects, and like people, I've been watching so many like resin, like people making their own D&D dice, which is so cool. So I've been obsessed with watching that stuff, and especially renovation videos. I love them. But then I'm like, okay, I like these things, and maybe whenever I have my own place, yeah, great. Maybe I'll do that when I have my own place. But for now, no. I'd like to actually do projects that I have in mind, and I have all of these sewing projects as well, just sitting in the background. Like, some of them aren't even projects. They're literally just like, I need to hem this. I need to like sew these, and I want to wear them. So, and I think a big factor, and I'm sure everybody can like relate to this, is like during these winter months. And when, like, if you yourself are in the position, for me, I'm staying at, I'm at my mom's, I live at my mom's, and I don't have a lot of space in my room. So, like, I make do with my space, and I, like, I sew in my room, and the table just takes up all the space. So when I'm sewing, like, that's it. Like, I have to put the table up, and then that's the project for the day. And then I can't really do anything else. So, and for me, that can be so frustrating. Like, mentally, my brain is like, well, then I can't move. And so you feel trapped. And like, when you're really like excited to do something, that doesn't even matter. But when you're in this state that I'm in right now, which is like the middle ground, where it's like, I want to do this thing, but I also could just not. My brain, that latter part always like wins out, unfortunately. So it's just about, it's hard. It's hard when you have a smaller space, and it's hard when you're not just like intrinsically immediately motivated by your brain's own kind of attention issues that are sometimes a blessing, sometimes a curse. So, and especially when I'm busy. So it feels like, I like those projects because they are productive, right? Because I can do things and they feel productive, but I also then feel frustrated because I'm like, well, I should be doing this, and I'm trying to write. Currently, I'm trying to write a book right now, and so that's another thing on my list of things that I want to do. And it's like takes a lot of research, takes way more time to sit and do it. And again, because it's like nobody's pushing me, nobody's forcing me to do these things. You're just like way less likely to do them. You're like, oh, there's no deadline, so I can just do this whenever. And I have a deadline internally. I have a deadline. But that doesn't mean anything to my brain right now. It's like, that's an imaginary number. You made that up. It doesn't mean anything to me. So that's where we're at. Oh my god. So Um, but yeah, I mean, I would say I'm doing better now than I was a few months ago. Just like, I finally started posting again, which was great. And I have some footage that I just need to edit and put up, and so that's really exciting. And I have like, a couple of videos that I already have kind of ready to go and just need to edit. And so that's always good because I was so sad to not be starting this up and then I like went MIA, and that's fine. I mean, everybody does that, right? But it just sucks when you kind of are on a roll and, you're posting pretty consistently and then things happen, right? And that can, it's life, but it's also can be frustrating when you're feeling so ready and so excited to just like, okay, let's just do it. Like, let's just freaking post every day and get all these things up. And then what I want to post is my creative stuff, like this stuff, here's my like fun new digital art that I've been doing and really enjoying getting back into like sketching and having fun little ideas like this and posting. And so like that stuff that I'm like, I enjoy sharing, right? Just like put it out there and just, like it's awesome, right? And it's also easy and it's fun to be like, oh yeah, look at this new thing that I'm working on. But yeah, I just get so, you get in your head. And also sometimes I get in my head about this kind of thing where I'm like, it's nothing. I think for me, I'm like, oh, this isn't like anything crazy special, or, it's just something I'm doing for fun. And then I get really bogged down by it. And then I just don't post anything because I'm kind of critical of myself in the art projects that I do and the singing projects. And that's another thing. Oh my God. I have songs, so many songs that I want to just produce because I have all the lyrics and the melody and stuff like that ready, but I don't have any kind of background music. And I know I could do a cappella, but I really want to take the time to actually sit down and do that and have some music, and then it'll sound so amazing. But that's also something I want to do with Josh, and he is just as busy. So we are in a bit of a perplexing scenario. So there's a lot of stuff on the go and good stuff, but also just, when you want to have some time, it just feels like there's never enough time. I think everybody can relate to that. There's never enough time to do everything you want to do. And then even when you have the time, it's like I finish work and I'm exhausted, right? Like, I'm like, okay, I could do this, but I'm also just like done for the day. Like, I am, I think I could just use a little chill, and that's what I, will choose to do instead, which again, not a bad thing, but it's tough. And I was like, read all these freaking motivational things, live the life you want to live on the weekends, work towards that life. And I'm like, look, people are tired, okay? Let's not like force them to like that you have to do these things, that you have to, build that life that you want on the weekends, like sometimes you just want to chill. Sometimes all it's like, okay, I'm just gonna put on a video game and I'm gonna play that for freaking 20 hours because I have been working nonstop and I really like my job, so I think that's another thing, is that I have a lot of passion towards it. So like I put a lot of my energy into it when I'm working, right? So it's like that's something I'm interested in, and it's what my diploma is going towards. So it's like that is also important. So finding the balance is tough, and it's so funny because I like literally talk to people about this, like this idea of mindfulness. Mindfulness is like, being able to enjoy your life, outside of just work, and be with other people and socialize and not get upset with yourself when you're kind of overwhelmed. And I think that's hard. It's hard not to be critical of yourself when you have all these things going on and you just want to get things done and you're like, I should be doing more. And that's tough. So I guess I think this is me literally just giving myself a little pep talk. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. Not getting everything done that you want in like one freaking swift movement. And as you can see here also, we're coming to the final stages. I actually moved things around, so there's a final image that'll come up with what I actually finished with. And I'm really excited about it. I think it turned out really lovely. As you can see, I added these bananas. I just thought this was really funny, and now it's become kind of a fruit series. You'll see in the next one, I also incorporated a fruit, and I just like really enjoy that. I do vegetables, give me some suggestions. But yeah, so yeah, I've been away. Slowly coming and merging back. If you enjoyed this, like, comment, subscribe. Uh, you know, have a great week and lots of love and joy. And again, don't beat yourself up. Bye.